Imagine waking up tomorrow and opening your to-do list. But instead of 20 different tasks competing for your attention, there's only one, not 10, not 5, just one thing that truly matters. And strangely, by completing that one thing, your work starts moving forward. Your biggest goals begin making progress. And the constant feeling of being overwhelmed slowly disappears. This simple but powerful idea lies at the heart of the best-selling book, The One Thing. According to authors Gary Keller and Papasan, most people struggle with productivity not because they're lazy, but because they're trying to do too many things at the same time. Welcome to Beyond the Book. In this video, we'll break down the complete framework from the book and explore how focusing on just one priority can create a domino effect that transforms the way you work and achieve goals. The modern productivity trap. Let's start with a familiar situation. You wake up, grab your phone, and check your to-do list. It looks something like this. Answer emails, finish a report, exercise, learn a new skill, work on a side project, call a client, plan next week. By the end of the day, you're exhausted. You've been busy all day. But strangely, you still feel like you didn't accomplish anything truly meaningful. According to The One Thing, this happens because modern productivity culture quietly teaches us a dangerous assumption: that everything matters equally. But success doesn't actually work that way. In reality, a small number of actions create most of the results in our lives. And understanding this leads to one of the most powerful ideas in the book: the domino effect. Success rarely happens all at once. Instead, it usually begins with something surprisingly small. Imagine lining up a row of dominoes. When you knock down the first domino, it pushes the next one, and the next, and the next. But here's the interesting part. If each domino is just 50% larger than the previous one, the chain reaction grows exponentially. After only 18 dominoes, the chain could knock over something the size of the Leaning Tower of Pisa. The lesson is simple but powerful. Small, focused actions can create extraordinary results over time. But this only works if you start with the right first domino. And that raises an important question. How do you identify that first domino in your own life? The question that changes everything. To solve this problem, the authors propose a surprisingly simple tool: a single question. A question they believe can cut through even the most chaotic to-do list. Here it is. What's the one thing I can do such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary? At first glance, the question seems almost too simple. But when you actually apply it, something interesting happens. You start realizing that many of the tasks filling your schedule don't really matter that much. Only a few actions truly move your life forward. For example, imagine someone trying to grow a YouTube channel. Their to-do list might look like this: learn video editing, design better thumbnails, post on social media, research video topics, reply to comments. But when they ask the focusing question, one priority might stand out: publishing consistently. Because once you publish regularly, you naturally improve editing. Thumbnails get better with practice. The algorithm starts recognizing your content. Everything else begins to fall into place. The productivity lies we believe. The book also argues that several common productivity beliefs are actually misleading. One of the biggest is multitasking. Many people believe multitasking makes them more productive. But research shows the brain isn't truly multitasking. Instead, it rapidly switches between tasks. And each switch costs time, focus, and mental energy. Another myth is the idea of a perfectly balanced life. We're often told we should give equal attention to every area of life. But meaningful progress usually requires temporary imbalance. When something truly matters, it deserves more focus and more time. The habit of success. Once you understand the focusing question and believe it can make a difference in your life, the next step is turning it into a daily habit. Every morning, ask yourself, what is the one thing I can do today for whatever you want, such that by doing it, everything else will be easier or unnecessary. Not 10 tasks, not 5 priorities, just one outcome that matters most. This doesn't mean you only do one thing all day. It simply means you identify the most important domino and make sure it falls. Over time, this small habit compounds into powerful results. Protecting your focus. Of course, identifying your priority isn't enough. You also need to protect time to work on it. The book recommends a strategy called time blocking. Time blocking means scheduling uninterrupted periods dedicated to your one thing. During that time, no notifications, no meetings, no distractions. Just deep, focused work. This is where the most meaningful progress happens. The hidden enemies of focus. Even with a clear priority, 4 hidden obstacles can sabotage your progress. The book calls them productivity thieves. They are the inability to say no, fear of chaos, poor health habits, your environment doesn't support your goals. Success often comes down to recognizing these forces and actively protecting your focus from them. Applying the framework. So far, we've explored 3 powerful ideas from the book. First, not everything matters equally. Second, success works like a line of falling dominoes. And third, finding the right first domino begins with the focusing question. Once you understand these ideas, the framework becomes simple to apply. Start with a long-term goal. And ask, what's the one thing I can do in the next 5 years to be on track to achieve my someday goal? Then this year. This month. This week. Today. And right now. Then give that step your full attention. Over time, each completed domino leads naturally to the next. But real life is messy, and sometimes priorities compete with each other. When that happens, the authors suggest thinking about your responsibilities as glass balls and rubber balls. Some areas of life are like glass balls. Things like your spiritual life, physical health, personal life, and key relationships. If you drop them, they shatter. Other areas like your job or business are more like rubber balls. If you drop them, they usually bounce back. Understanding this helps you make better decisions about where your time and energy should go. The most surprising lesson from the one thing is this. Success doesn't come from doing more. It comes from doing less, but with extreme focus. When you identify the right first domino and give it your full attention, the rest begin to fall naturally. And over time, those small, focused actions compound into extraordinary results. If you'd like help applying this framework, I've created a free workbook to help you identify your one thing and build your domino chain. You can download it through the link in the description. And if you enjoy book breakdowns that turn powerful ideas into practical systems you can actually use, consider subscribing to be in the book. Because sometimes the biggest life changes begin with just one small domino.